Hello and welcome back to another haul video for August 2023. Yeah, I know my haul's very late this month, but I was waiting for my sci-fi order to arrive because it was a bit delayed. But it's here now and we can get on with the haul. And we actually have Breeze with us today. Hello Breezy! It's usually Rowan who comes up. He's Breezy today. And it's also pissing it down outside and the rain is literally running down the street. It's like a river. Anyway, let's get on to the haul. And the first things I have actually aren't manga, but they are manga related because they kind of are manga, and that is, I found this Shoujo Beat magazine from November 2007. This is like Viz Media's old thing they used to do where they took some Shoujo Beat series and they put them into a magazine, a bit like they do in Japan. So yeah, I just randomly came across this. It has chapters from Wild Ones, Crimson Hero, Sand Chronicles, Absolute Boyfriend, Honey and Clover, Vampire Knight, and Haruka Beyond the Streams of Time in here. This is the first chapter of Wild Ones. All the other ones are just random chapters in the middle. So yeah, it's different colours as well, like the Japanese ones are. And here's just random chapters. I thought it was very cool, especially since it has Honey and Clover in here. And Honey and Clover is a series that I was wanting to read. I really like the anime, but I'm having difficulty finding the manga, but I have a couple of chapters of it in here now. So yeah, that's the Shoujo Beat magazine. And I also happened to find these on eBay too in a lot together, and these are Hanata Yume magazines from 2008. This is issue 14 and this one is issue 16. This one has Skip Beat on the front and this one has Special A on the front. Obviously they are very old and the spines are cracking a bit, but it's understandable with how fat these are that would happen, especially on this one. But yeah, these have chapters from random Hanata Yume series in them. This is Twinkle Stars from the author Fruits Basket. And like this one has Special A in it, and this series. These also have NG Life in it, which is Yawn of the Dawn author's previous series before Yona. So this is it here. So that's very cool. I actually went through research what the series were because I didn't recognise every one of them, and then wrote down them. So this one had Osama Teacher, Yaku and Alice, the Stellar 6, Skip Beat, Hanato Akuma, Isho ni Yo Yo, Twinkle Stars, Shana Mimi Go, No Saku Junkie, NG Life, Venus Capichiro, and Hadaka no Ouiji-sama by Miyuki Mitsubashi in this one. This one was the hardest one to figure out what it was since it's just a one-shot. And there's actually two manga that go by that same name. And this one has Skip Beat, VB Rose, Hanato Akuma, Stellar 6, Special A, Twinkle Stars, Kazoku no Ninja, or The Pirate and the Mermaid, Happy Cafe, NG Life, Wild Ones, Ito ni Yo Yo, Kami-sama Kiss, and Kyonmo Ashitamo in it. So yeah, I just randomly found these on eBay from a UK seller. They weren't that much. And I've been wanting Hanata Yume magazines for the longest time because Hanata Yume has Fruits Basket in it, Hanata Yume has Yawn at the Dawn in it. So although these two volumes don't have those two series in because 2 years too late for Fruits Basket and a year too early for Yona, it does have other series by those same authors in them. So yeah, I thought these were really cool, and I was super excited when I saw them, and I just had to get them because I really wanted some Hanata Yume magazines. I don't mind that they're older ones either because some of the series in here are like a good series. I've also been trying to track down some volumes of Betsukomi, but I haven't been able to find any that are in the UK. Hey Breezy, you're being such a good girl just lying there. Next up, I had the entire series of Oku. I found a deal for this on eBay, brand new. Some of these were even still plastic wrapped, although they're not now because I removed it. But yeah, I was interested in buying this series because I like the anime quite a lot, but I wasn't specifically looking for it at the time when I came across it. I was just like, oh, it's the entire set of Oku. It's brand new, and it's like going for like £7 a volume. Sci-Fi has them for about £6.80 a volume, so it's only like 20 pence more a volume than what I could have got them off Sci-Fi, and I don't think Sci-Fi actually has all the volumes available in stock. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think they do. So when I saw this complete set for basically very similar to what Sci-Fi was selling them for, I thought, I'm going to go for it because this is a series that I want to get into. And I was thinking about maybe reading a volume a month after I finish with Red River. So yeah, Oku is a historical shoujo series about like an alternative history where this disease called red-faced smallpox is around, and it's killing off like I think 80% of the male population, and therefore women have to take on all the roles. So women take on the roles of fishermen and merchants, and basically all the roles that men would have normally had. And we also now have a female shogun, and she has this thing called the Oku, which is normally for the shogun, which will be filled with all his concubines. But now we have the female shogun. Oku is now filled with all these beautiful men, which have joined the Oku, because men are kind of scarce now, and so she has a bunch of them in this Oku which she can choose from. And it's basically, the series basically follows the men in this Oku as well as the different shoguns throughout history. The first volume starts out with the most recent shogun, and then she finds this book and she reads through this book, and it talks about the history and how everything started and how this world came about, and it goes over a bunch of different shoguns and stuff. And I found the anime to be very interesting, and I really liked it, so I'm glad I found the manga for a good price. Here's volume 8. 9. 10. This one has a white cover. 11. 12. And just a warning, if you're planning to get into this series, it probably has about every trigger warning in existence for it. So just be wary of that and look up that sort of stuff before you want to get into the series, because there's a lot. There's 14. 15. I think they just gave up the colours at this point and made all the titles red. 16. 17. 18. And 19. And that's all of Oku. I'm looking forward to starting to read this once I'm finished with Red River. I'll trade one historical series for another. I'm almost done with Red River. I'm only like 6 volumes off finishing it. This is hard to push. And now to get into this stack here, which is all but 2 of the volumes in this stack I got from Sci-Fi. I will mention the 2 that I didn't when I come across them. It's a bit tilty. It's probably a bit insecure. First up, I have The Dragon's Betrothed Volume 2. I was disappointed when I read the first volume to this series because this is the same author as Therapy Game, and I love Therapy Game. It's one of my favourite BLs, so I read this one with a lot of high expectations, and I was just slightly let down by it. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I was just disappointed that it wasn't as good as Therapy Game for me, but I'm still going to continue reading it, especially since Volume 2 is going to be the last one we get for a long time, because I don't think Volume 3 is out in Japan yet, and I don't think BL series actually release that often. I think with some BL series you only get a chapter every 2 months, so it might be a while before we see a Volume 3 in English. But yeah, I do like this author's artwork though, it's a very nice cover. Next up, I have Volume 2 of the Apothecary Diaries. I really enjoyed the first volume. I read it a few months ago, and the anime's coming out soon. There's been a lot of trailers dropping. It's looking very good, and I was wanting to read a bit more of the manga before I start getting into the anime and it starts airing. So yeah, I picked up Volume 2. This is a historical series that takes place in ancient China, where we follow Mao Mao, who is an herbalist, and she ends up being recruited to live in the inner courts of the Emperor's palace, where she's like one of the chambermaids, I think, and she looks after the concubines. But she has medical knowledge, and because of her medical knowledge, she starts getting noticed, and like she solves this case revolving around why babies are dying, and you know, she starts getting attention drawn to her. So it's like a medical mystery set in the Emperor's court in ancient China. It's like a bit like Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom. Like, it's only, I think this one came first. It's based off a light novel. I don't think the light novel has physicals. I think it's digital only. Next up, we have My Girlfriend's Child Volume 2. I really liked the first volume. I found it super interesting. It deals with teenage pregnancy, and like it deals with it in like a very good way. Like, it doesn't do what some series does. It's very realistic. It's going over all the emotions that this girl's feeling now that she's found out she's pregnant. And like, I really like Volume 1, and I'm very looking forward to reading Volume 2. Next is The Ancient Megaspide 18, the latest volume of this. I am planning on starting to watch Season 2 of the anime soon, because I think Season 2 covers most of the college arc, I do believe, and I think we're coming to the end of the college arc in the manga now. At least I think we are. Things in that arc seem to be drawing a bit more to a close now, so yeah. That's Volume 18. This is one of the volumes I didn't get from Sci-Fi. I got this one from Blackwell's. And that's I Should Not Love You. This is a BL one-shot. Now, when I bought this, I had no idea that this is from the same author as Cast Heaven. I bought this, it arrived, I looked at the cover and I was like, oh, I think I've seen this art style before, and I opened it up and I saw this and I was like, I've definitely seen this art style before. And then I looked at the author's name and I was like, oh, this is the same person who did Cast Heaven. And if it's anything like Cast Heaven, this series is going to be majorly fucked up. So I'm looking forward to giving it a read. There's another one-shot come out from June recently as well, called The Flower Capital, that I was interested in as well, but I forgot to pick that one up because I forgot that it was out. So I'll probably grab that one next month. Next is Love and Heart Volume 8, continuing with this horror, dark romance where I really want the main couple to break up. But it is very interesting, despite the fact that it's completely toxic. It is quite interesting, and what's going on is kind of fascinating. So yeah, I want to know how this series ends and if they do actually stay together or what. I just hope they don't. I also grabbed Volume 12 of Love of Kill. This is the penultimate volume. Volume 13 is going to be the final volume. Looking forward to it. I've been enjoying this series, and I think this one, by the looks of the size, is mostly a flashback, because it looks like it's like mostly, you know how when there's a flashback in manga they tend to put black outlines around it instead of white, like this. And there seems to be a lot of that in this volume, so I'm guessing this volume's mostly flashback. We'll have to see. Next, it's Mint Chocolate Volume 8. This is high school romance between two step siblings, but they liked each other before they were step siblings, and they're teenagers. They didn't become step siblings when they were little and like grew up together or anything. They became step siblings when they were older, and they already liked each other beforehand. Therefore, I don't mind. I like the series. Next is Volume 7 of Cheeky Brat. Again, another high school romance. This one has blue stripes on it, which is quite nice. I quite like the blue stripes on the spine. Yeah, I've heard that most of the spines from this point on are just going to be plain white instead of colour, which I don't really mind. I'm not actually that bothered about what the spines look like, but I quite like the fact that this one has blue stripes. Yeah, it's a high school romance with basketball and stuff like that. has a colour page here, which is quite nice. Next I have Call the Name of the Night Volume 2. This first volume of this one was very interesting. It's fantasy about this little girl, I think she's about 9 or 10, who has the ability to call the night to her. So I think when she gets stressed or when she gets anxious, like, the night starts closing in around her. So she's sent to live with this doctor, and he's trying to cure that. Cure the fact that she can call the night to her. It was very interesting first volume. I really enjoyed it, and also the artwork's so nice. And just look at this artwork. It's very nice. Yeah, that's Call the Name of the Night Volume 2. Also, the covers are very nice too. This is the Doctor on the front of this one. Next, 39 of Yawn at the Dawn. I can't believe we're almost at volume 40 with this series. And Hack's wearing green on the back cover. Yeah, I love Yawn of the Dawn. I've been reading Yawn of the Dawn since volume 1 came out. Whatever year volume 1 came out, I don't remember, it's been that long. But yeah, Yawn at the Dawn's a series that I've been reading since it first came out up until now. I've been following it this entire time, and I just can't believe we're already almost at volume 40. I don't know how much longer this series is going to go on for, but I don't think it's ending anytime soon. It could go on to like 60, 70 volumes, and I honestly don't mind. But this is probably the longest series in my collection. I mean, I know in volume count Inuyasha's longer, but I don't actually have all of Inuyasha, but this is the longest series in my collection that I'm actually up to date with. So yeah, I really love Yawn of the Dawn. It's great. Next I have volume 6 of McCoy. It's a sweet high school romance between this guy who looks like a delinquent and this girl here, who decided once she gets to high school she wants to, like, be more open and pursue what she wants. Yeah, this is a cute one. Next is Snow White with the Red Hair 25. I only just got 24 recently. I didn't realise that 24 and 25 came out so close together. But yeah, I think this volume is going to end the current arc that we're on. I won't mention what the arc's about, it'll be spoilers, but yeah, I think this volume is going to be ending that arc. Next, I have volumes 4, 5 and 6 of Blood on the Tracks. I've read the first 3 volumes, it was a while ago, but this series has recently ended and I want to start reading more and try to catch up with it a bit more, so I got 4, 5 and 6. Also, I was thinking of ideas that I could do for videos, and I was thinking that I could do like 4 videos of my top 5, like shoujo, shonen, seinen, josei. So I was trying to write a list of my top 5 in each demographic, and I got to seinen and I was struggling, and that's when I was like, I need to read more seinen. And this is a seinen that I was enjoying with the first 3 volumes, so yeah, I decided to read more of this. Because I didn't particularly want to put series on that list that I wasn't either finished or up to date with. I only really wanted to include series that I was either up to date with or I've completed. So I did kind of think of putting this on the list, but I was like, I should probably read more of it first. So yeah, I am probably planning to do those videos at some point. I just need to figure out my seinen at the time. Like, my top 5 shoujo I picked out easily. I knew exactly what they were. Shonen, I managed to get my top 5 pretty easily, but with josei and seinen, I was struggling a bit more. So once I pick out the top 5 is the josei and the seinen, I'll probably get around to doing those videos, but I don't know how long that's going to take. Because with josei I currently have 3, I'm just thinking of another 2, and with seinen I currently only have 2, so yeah, I need to get up to date with some more seinen so I can put them on the list. Then this is one of them I want to get up to date with, because this will possibly be on the list. But yeah, this is Shuzo Oshimi series. I've only read one other series by him, and that's Happiness, and I've only read the first 2 volumes. But this is about a boy and his mother's like very overprotective, and she's kind of very strange, and they go on this camping trip in the first volume, and she does something very, very bad, and everything just kind of spirals out of control from there. And yeah, I really like it. It's very dark and disturbing at times, and I'm enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to reading these 3 volumes. I can't usually read more than 1 or 2 volumes a day, but with Blood on the Tracks, they're so easy to get through, there's not a lot of words in them. I could probably read all 3 of these volumes in one day. Then I have Gorn Ichinote, Catastrophe at 16. This is the Seraph at the End spin-off in manga form. Like, I have the light novels for this series, but now they've started releasing the manga adaptation in English, so I started picking that up. I really like Seraph at the End, and Goran is actually one of my favourite characters from Seraph at the End. There's a nice cover picture here of Goran and Mahiru. So yeah, I have read the light novels for this, so I do know the story to it. This is a 2-in-1, by the way. But yeah, this is a prequel to Seraph at the End. If you've read Seraph at the End, this is a prequel about Goran when he was 16, before the world ended. Because if you've read Seraph at the End, you know before the start of the story, the world has ended, vampires have taken over. And this takes place before the end of the world, back when Goran was 16. He's 24 in the main series, and it's his life up into the world ends. Like, this series follows Goran from him up into, like, the start of the series up into when the world actually ends. That's where this series concludes. So yeah, it follows Goran. Like, it follows Goran's life up into the end of the world and what he was doing then. So this is going to be 12 volumes in total. We'll be getting 6 of these 2-in-1s. And yeah. It's by a different artist than the manga. I think it's by the same artist who did the... There's kind of a bit of nudity on that page. I probably shouldn't show it. I think it's by the same artist who did the artwork in the Resurrection at 19 light novel, which is the Reconstruction at 19. Reconstruction, not Resurrection. I think it's by the same artist who did that, because I wonder if we'll get that one in manga format, because I wonder if we'll ever get any more volumes of that in general, because we got 2 volumes and then we never got any more. Like, was the series cancelled? Is it on hiatus? I don't get it. But yeah, there's a sequel. We have Catastrophe at 16, then we have a sequel called Gorn Ichinose Reconstruction at 19, which follows on from where this one ended and follows Goran after the end of the world. But we have yet to get another volume of that, and I'm wondering, maybe was the series on hiatus or cancelled or something, I don't know. Anyway, looking forward to reading this. I like the Goran light novels. They add a lot more world building and depth to the Seraph at the End universe, and you get to know Goran a lot better. You get to know Shinya and his team a lot better. So if you're a fan of Seraph at the End, I would recommend picking it up. Next, I have a BL light novel called You Can Have My Back. I don't know much about this. I just like the cover. I think it's a fantasy about a guy who gets killed and then reincarnated as somebody else, and then he starts to get back his memories of his past life, and he remembers that he liked this guy or something like that. When Ionia, proud knight of the realm, loses his wife in a violent insurrection, his memories are inherited by a boy born one day after his death. Years later, Riorino Cassiox, fourth son of the Margrave of Brungwart, and blessed with angelic beauty, begins to see Ionia's memories in his dreams. He realizes Ionia's ill-fated romance with the king's younger brother, Prince Gravis, as well as his death at the hands of the traitors of the kingdom. But Riorino tries to make sense of the feeling swelling in his chest. He stumbles too close to the truth of that fated day. The traitor's identity is revealed, and in a panic, the traitor threatens to end himself and take Riorino with him. As Riorino's life hangs in the balance, he instinctively cries out for his only hope, the love of his past wife, Gravis. I do believe this is an age gap, because obviously, he resurrected and he didn't, so he's still the same age he was before, but he's younger because he was reborn. Well, I don't actually know much about it. As I say, I bought it for the cover. Then I have, this is the second volume. I didn't get it back. I got this at Black Rose. This is the other volume I didn't get at Sci-Fi. That's Something's Wrong with Us 16. I got this from Black Rose. Love the series. This is the final main volume in the series. That we're getting 3 sequel volumes. It's going to be called the Newlywed Arc from what I've seen, and it consists of volume 17, 18 and 19, and I think it's like a short sequel, but volume 19 will be out in February, so the series will be fully completed in February. So yeah, I enjoy the series. It was brilliant. It's a current favourite. I love it so much. And this is the final volume in the main story. Next, we have Cologne Generic Romance Volume 4. Looking forward to reading this. I've been enjoying the series. There's a lot of intrigue. Like, what the hell is going on? We seem to be getting more questions than answers at this point, and I'm just wondering what's happening. And I'm intrigued to find out. And we have Alice in Borderlands 6. Still keeping up to date with Alice in Borderlands. If you've watched the live action, this is into season 2 content now. I loved the live action, it was great. Manga's good too, but I think the live action's slightly prefer it. So yeah, this is Alice in Borderlands 6. And last up in this haul, I have another light novel by Mizuki Sugimura. This is the same one who did Yamahara, which I got last month. This is called Anime Supremacy. And this is about 3 women working in the anime industry. Right, we have a producer, a director, and an animator. And it's 4 chapters long, and I think each chapter follows a different one of the women. Like, chapter 1 is the first woman's story, and then chapter 2 is the second woman's story, and then chapter 3 is the third woman's story, and I think the final chapter follows all 3 of them. I don't know if they end up meeting up or what. But there's a few small pictures at the beginning of each chapter. Yeah, I think this chapter follows this one at the front with the glasses here. So yeah, I thought this sounded very interesting. I think it'll give a look into the anime industry and how things are done and stuff like that. So we have, that's the description. Apparently it won an award in 2012. Oh no, she made a debut in 2004. And she won the Naoki in 2012, a Japan Book Sale Award nominee. Anime Supremacy is her first work to publish in English. Well, is it though? I thought Lonely Castle in the Mirror was published before this one, but I might be mistaken. It might have been published after. But Lonely Castle in the Mirror is not published by a manga publisher. It's actually published by a Penguin or Puffin Book, something like that. I might pick that one up at some point. I do plan on getting the manga adaptation of it. But yeah, I thought this sounded very interesting and I wanted to give it a go. And that is it. That is the entire haul for the month of August. I got quite a few volumes. Of course, I got Oroku. I got my monthly releases, and then I found the cool magazines too. And Breeze has been here the entire time. You wouldn't think it, but she's actually almost 11. She still looks quite young. Don't you, Breezy? Pretty? Yes, you do. Yes, sweetheart. Anyway, that was it for the haul, and I will see you for another video when I do one. And bye-bye. Bye.